Steven Mosher joins us now. He is president of the Population Research Institute. Steven, welcome. So China is talking tough, but you say Beijing is actually quietly retreating as fast as it can.
Well, it has to retreat. China is now increasingly in chaos. You're going to have, in the next couple of weeks, 10 million workers who've lost their jobs, who don't get severance pay. Some of them haven't been paid for months, quite frankly. And that number will increase to 20 or 30 million over the next couple of months. Those people have nowhere to go but to take to the streets. That's why the Chinese Communist Party is quietly relaxing tariffs on 131 different classes of American goods. They understand that this is really for all the marbles. They will face another round of Tiananmen Square-like demonstrations if this continues for very long. You remember Tiananmen Square, June 4th, 1989. Millions of people in the major cities of China, including the capital of Beijing, taking to the streets, demanding an end to communism. And they were met with deadly force. 10,000 were killed in the capital on June 4th, 1989. China's leaders are very afraid that those sorts of demonstrations will break out again. There's increasing unrest in China's cities. And, you know, it's not just the factories that produce goods that sell to Americans that are shutting down. It's the tea rooms, the stores all around those factories that are shutting down as well. So the ripple effects through the Chinese economy, which is already in very bad shape, are going to be tremendous. I think that China is facing economic collapse. I think that China is desperate to do something, and I will say that all Americans should be angry at Beijing's latest offer. Beijing's latest offer is it will stop the flow of fentanyl to the United States if Trump lowers the tariffs. Now, remember, for years, the Chinese Communist Party has said, we have nothing to do with fentanyl that's killing almost 100,000 Americans every year. Now they have formally offered to stop the flow of fentanyl, to stop killing Americans if we lower the tariffs. So I would say keep the tariffs in place. Let's buy goods made in India or Mexico or the United States, and reshore our supply lines here to our own country.
Yeah. Steven, you write about some of the anti-American rhetoric that they're actually teaching children in Chinese schools, chants that they're having to do basically to hate the United States. And then, you know, there are reports that all of these negotiations and these talks with the U.S. are very hush-hush because, well, maybe you could answer that. Why are they so hush-hush?
Well, the Chinese Communist Party is being two-faced about this. First of all, they're telling the Chinese people that it's all America's fault, glossing over the fact that for the last 25 years, they've been cheating on trade, and we're just trying to have fair trade with China. So they've got school kids in China shouting anti-American slogans, teachers leading children chanting, China must win the U.S.-China trade war. And quietly, of course, they are talking to us. We always talk to China. We're talking to China all the time. Just last week, there was a delegation that went into the U.S. Commerce Department, U.S. Treasury Department at 7 a.m. in the morning, I think, hoping to avoid the cameras, being led by senior officials from China. What were they talking about? They're talking about trade. So China wants to end this. I think it's in our interest to understand one thing, that China wants to dominate the 21st century. And for the sake of the freedoms of the Chinese people and the American people, the Chinese Communist Party must not be allowed to dominate this century or any other century.
Okay. Steven Mosher, president of the Population Research Institute. Great to have you on this evening. Thank you so much.